Good morning, everybody. You guys asked for a second example. So let's have a look at the following from the textbook that you're using in development software. A typing saloon charges, we can just read that as 10 cents per envelope that's typed and 25 cents per typed page. The company accountant wants an application to help her prepare bills. She will enter the customer's name, the number of typed envelopes, and the number of typed pages. The application should calculate and display the customer's bill. Create a Visual Basic Windows application. Okay, so first of all, we need to make sure we understand it. So there's a certain price per typed envelope, certain price per typed page. We will be given the number of envelopes, number of pages, as well as the customer's name, and we need to calculate and display the total bill. So step 1 is understand the question. Step 2, let's go and select the input. So I've got customer's name, the number of typed envelopes, where that disappears, and the number of typed pages. Those three things would be the input, the things my program needs to take. So what do they want as the result of the program, as the output? Let's draw a block around that. They want the total bill. So that's step 1 and step 2. First of all, we need to know what's the input, and then we need to know what is the output. So from this, we can start filling in the program, the description. So if we go to a planning chart, let's go fill in the description as first. Customer name. We only work with one person at a time. So what would be a good name for that input variable? Cust name, baby. Or just name. Or customer name, but one word in any case. Then we need number of typed pages, and we need the number of typed envelopes. So number of typed pages can just be number of pages. Number of typed envelopes can be just number envelopes, like that. I by accident left a line open, so let's just move that along. So first of all, a description of what we need, and then a nice variable name. One word starts with an alphabet letter, nice descriptive, and customer name, number of pages, number of envelopes. Those would be perfectly fine for me. So now, next of all, we need to design the user interface. How will the screen look? I'm just going to use Paint for now. You can draw a rough drawing on a piece of paper. So if that is my screen, I need 3 things for the user as input. The customer name. Normally we start with a capital, end it with a colon. Number of pages and number of envelopes. We need to combine 2 things here. Make this as descriptive as possible, but not use too many words. So I'm not going to include typed pages, typed envelopes. They know what is the purpose of this program. What do we need to provide? The output is the customer bill. So customer bill, like that. And normally all these descriptions will have colons after it. So now I will need one block for the name, one block for the number of pages. I'll just move everything along a little bit. One block for the number of envelopes and the customer's bill, like that. So if I just make everything neat and nice, you guys can just use a pen and pencil on a paper. Then I've got something like this. I need to provide actions for the user always. So I'll draw the block in a little bit, calculate the bill, or just calculate bill. I need a clear and I need a close button. And just to make everything look neat and nice, I can do something like this. I like extremely neat and nice programs, but this should be good enough then. User can type in all the information they need in the input fields, and the result is displayed in the output field. Okay. Next, if you've got a little bit of problems, okay, I didn't type in the output yet, so let's just go and say this is the customer bill, and for a variable name, let's stick with customer bill like that. We're not filling in this column at all at this stage. We'll get to that pretty soon. What is given to us if I now look at other variables? The costs per page and per envelope. So we're going to enter those over here in the other variables. Let's call this cost per page, and they're going to pay 25 cents for a page. Cost for an envelope would be 10 cents. I just change this column so that we can see everything neat and nicely. I'm actually going to insert another column over there because I need to now work with other things. Okay, so let's assume at this stage we don't really have any other data. We can't think of any other variables to use. Let's go and have a look at the planning steps for the button. Step 5, adding the variables. Step 6, writing the test data. And step 7, writing the steps for the buttons. You can sort of do that interchangeable. So steps for the calculate bill button. You know the first step. That would be declare the variables. And it would be input, output, and other variables. We'll see later on how. Step 2, I need to get the input data. So get the customer name, number of typed envelopes, and pages. And now, what would be my third step? Let's go and calculate first the cost for the envelopes. Calculate the envelope cost. Let's maybe make this a little bit bigger for you. Calculate the envelope cost. So now, I don't have a variable to store the envelope cost. That would be another variable. So I like to start with the word cost, and this would be the cost for the envelope. Well, let's go envelope cost. Store the costs for all envelopes. That's what we're saving in this. So calculate the cost of the envelope. What would be my formula? I'm just going to enter it on the next line. My name of the variable where I store the data is envelope cost. And how will I calculate that? It would be the number of envelopes from my input times the cost of an envelope, and I've got cost envelope like that. Now I need to calculate the cost of the typed pages. So again, where will I save this data? It's not part of output, it's not asked. So that means it will need to be a variable that falls under the other temporary variables. So let's just say page cost, the cost of the envelopes. So again, I'm going to add it over there. And what would be my formula? That would be page cost is equal to the number of pages times the cost of a page. And now I'm ready to calculate my total bill, because the total bill consists of the number of pages and the number of envelopes that would be calculated or typed. So calculate the total or customer bill, and an easy hack for you here, that last calculation will always calculate something that's displayed as output. So the variable is customer bill, and how will I calculate that? Envelope cost, and I'm going to add the page cost to that. And how do I come up with the formula? That's a little bit of practice. This is where the logic in programming logic comes in. Through practice, we get to get better at anything that we do. Okay, so last step would be to go and display the customer bill. Okay, so over here I've got all my formulas worked out and the steps when somebody clicks on the calculate bill button. Then my program must first of all declare the variables. It must get the data from the text fields, those three things that I've listed. Program will need to calculate the cost of an envelope, and I gave the formula. Calculate the cost of a page, or of all the pages, and I gave the formula. And it calculates the cost of for the customer, the bill, and again I need to give the formula and then display everything. Okay, so now it might be a little bit easier for you to go and work with the test data. And there were actually some test data values given to us initially. They said assume a customer name is Alice Wong, number of pages is 200, number of envelopes 250. And I can now, I've got my formulas worked out. I can go and work out what would be my envelope costs first of all. We'll just give my PC a moment to catch up to everything that we're doing. Okay, so all is well over here. Let's just maybe center all this data. Okay, first thing would be step 3, calculate the envelope cost. So envelope cost would be, in Excel I can just type in the values for now. So how many envelopes do I have? Times what is the cost of an envelope? Like that. So it would be 25 Rand. What is the page cost? And again, I'm just going to type the formula like this. Times what is the cost of a page? Like that. So this gives me the result already. You can use your hand calculator or your cell phone as well to calculate this. What would be the bill? So it would be the 25 and the 50 added together. I'm following the formulas listed over here. So the first result will need to be 75 Rand. That's what the person will need to pay. We were given a second example. We're not going to work currently with wrong data. So I'm just going to replace that with 55. Just increase the font. And they also have wrong data over there. So number of envelopes, let's make that 55 as well. Okay, so 55 envelopes, 55 pages, and you use just a different name for the next customer. Let's say it's Emily Motlong that we are working with. So that means test data 2. The customer name must be Emily Motlong. I'm just for now going to hide a few of the columns so that we can see everything. Number of pages, number of envelopes, precisely the same. We're going to assume 1 page per envelope for now. Okay, so if I now go to the calculations that I'm needing, we can assume step 1 is executed. Step 2, I've got the input data already. So now step 3, calculate the envelope cost. So that would be the 55 times the cost of an envelope, like that. And for the next step, how many pages I've got? 55 times the cost of a page. Those of you that's familiar with Excel, take note, I'm not using the cell coordinates right now. I'm working with first years that might not know Excel, and I don't want to confuse them at all. So now if I go calculate the customer bill, step 5, it would be 5 Rand 50 plus 13 Rand 75, and it gives us some end result. The third test data is not given to us, so we can just say this is Mpu Mkwena. Sorry. And we're going to say 150 pages, 75 envelopes. Let's work on about 2 pages per envelope. So again, I first need to do step 3, calculate the envelope cost. So how many envelopes do I have? 75. What is my cost per envelope? I need to calculate. Excel is nice, this program that I'm using, because it does the calculations for me. Step 4, calculate the cost per page. So I've got 150 pages times, that's a little bit wrong, 25 cents per page. And now step 5 says calculate the customer bill. I need to add up R7.50 and 37.50. Take a note, this 0 doesn't need to be included in the calculation. If I add it or leave it in mathematics, it won't make a difference. So there I've got my test data. This test data is very important when I run the program, after I've written the program, because when I will type in the following data and the program must give me 45 Rand as the customer's bill. Then I know the program is correct and it's working and all is fine. Okay, hope the second example was helpful for you. I took a little bit of a different sequence. I didn't immediately write down the other variables. It is something that is developed via experience. After you've done something again and again, it's easy to pick the other variables. So I followed a little bit of a different approach. I first had a look at the steps to calculate the bill. From there, I worked out what is my other or in between or temporary variables. I gave them some names. And lastly, I calculated the test data. Thank you very much.